Yeah, we're excited to be here. Obviously, um, getting here is not easy, so I'm proud of our players and what they've been able to put together. And obviously, we're facing a familiar foe, so we know it's going to be a challenge. We know how good they are, and hopefully, our experience from the past few years will benefit us here this weekend.
Thank you very much, Coach. As a reminder to our media members, we ask that you please silence your phones. Additionally, this will be hybrid, so we will have Zoom questions coming in as well. As we open it up for questions for Coach, we do ask that you please state your name and media affiliation. This will help with quotes in our stenographer. And finally, a reminder that recording this press conference is not allowed. Still photos are fine. We'll open it up to questions for our media in the room. We'll start with Jonas.
Jonas Pope, the fourth Raleigh News and Observer. Coach, your last loss was obviously at Notre Dame, February 1st, which seems like a long time ago. Sure, how have you guys changed since that game?
Well, again, I mean, I like the way we're playing now, obviously, but you have nights. We didn't shoot the ball particularly well that evening. We missed some shots, but again, you got to give credit to their defense. But Dotson is who really, I thought, hurt us in that game in particular. We didn't really have an answer for her. I think she got 7 offensive rebounds. So we've got to do a better job in that regard. I just think this time of year, and I say it all the time because I was around Pat Summitt some early in my coaching career. Pat used to always say, offense sells tickets, defense wins games, and rebounding wins championships. We've got to be a better rebounding team. We've got to be a great rebounding team this weekend. If we want to be successful. I think transition, offense and defense, hopefully we've gotten better in those areas, but we're going to continue to need to grow. But, I just think at this time of year, too, I think we learned it last year, you got to have a lot of toughness. And so hopefully the experience we have on our roster will help us in that regard. But we're going to have to, this time it's win or go home now. And so got to really bring it, I think, every possession of every game.
Hey, Coach, Doug Feinberg, the AP. Two-part question. Does it help you guys, or does it make any difference that you're familiar with them and that your team knows what Notre Dame is, and obviously you've played them, so there's that familiarity instead of playing some team you've never played this season? The second part is, what do you think Notre Dame's gotten better at since you played them, since they've been done quite a role lately?
Right. Yeah, they have been. I think as far as making it easier, it maybe makes it easier on the coaches because you already have film and scout and things like that, and obviously head-to-head. In our case, we lost, so we need to look at everything we did and adjustments we need to make. Then I just think Notre Dame's a young team, and so I just think they've continued to grow. And Ivy's done a great job of bringing them along, and they got so many weapons. Olivia Miles makes them go, just transition and penetrate and kick. Mabry, if you give her the smallest gap, she's going to knock down a 3. I think 7 threes in the last game. Citron, to me, is one of the best freshmen in the country as well. Somebody that you really have to account for. Westbeld, Burnell, those two at the 4 position, both deadly. And then, like I said, Dotson is the one that really hurt us the first time. So I just think they're all playing better collectively and hitting on all cylinders. So you're going to have to defensively really be locked in and try to take away strengths. And they've got a lot of strengths, so it's a big challenge.
Hey, Coach. Lori Riley from the Hartford Courant. I know you've addressed this before, but I just was curious, now that you're actually here in Bridgeport, can you just talk about kind of the fairness of this, of being here? And obviously it doesn't affect you in the first game.
Yeah,
but
right. Yeah, I really, where else would you want to be, right? I mean, heck. I've actually been up here before when I was at UT Chattanooga, and I'm trying to remember. This is how old I am. I'm trying to remember if this is the exact place we played. I think it was. So I've been up here before, and, they love their basketball up here, so I know there's going to be a lot of energy and all that. But, we got to worry about Notre Dame. I mean, we lost to them earlier, so we got our hands full. So, our focus right now is on that game. I had that turned off for you. Go ahead.
My follow-up is, obviously Notre Dame had that huge performance a couple days ago. What did you take out of watching that game?
We better guard better than Oklahoma did, or we're going to be in for a long night. Again, they got a lot of weapons, and when they're all hitting, that's the thing. Let's face it. That's why you play these games. Otherwise, you just throw stat sheets out. You got to go out there and do it that day. And you're right. They, Oklahoma ran into a juggernaut. So we just got to try to, like I said, take away some of their strengths and slow them down a little bit, and hope we're playing well. At this time of year, that's what it's all about.
Over.
Hey, Coach. Jackie Powell with Bleacher Report. I'm curious as to how you think pace of play is going to be a factor in this game against Notre Dame, especially after what we saw against Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I said, Olivia Miles makes them go, but they all run. I mean, Dotson will get out and go, run to the rim. West Bell, Burnell, Citron. I mean, they all get out and go, and then you got to worry about Mabry getting down the court, spotting up for the three. So, transition D will be critical. I mean, we got to try to get back, match up quickly, and try to stop the ball, and make them get in the half court because, like I said, as you mentioned, they played really well in transition, and I think that's their best offense. So, got to try to slow that down.
Ernie Myers, NC State radio coach. First two games, Notre Dame has scored 50 points in the paint. How do you stop that in this tournament on Dotson and getting points in the paint?
Well, like I said, Dotson's a great player, and she really had her way with us last time. And it's tough because they also have great shooters around her. So it's not like you can help off and cheat somewhere because if you do, they're going to have open threes. So mainly your players have to really have a lot of energy, a lot of urgency, trying to help in, close out, recover, maybe dig, whatever, pressure the ball a little bit more so the feed's a little bit tougher. But then keep her off the glass. Like I said, 7 offensive rebounds against us last time. So most of those result in points when she gets those rebounds. So got to do a better job there and just battle. I mean, she's a great player.
Take it over.
Ben Pickman, Sports Illustrated. Do you go back and watch, last year's Sweet 16 loss, or do you talk about it? I guess how does that kind of experience impact your preparation going into this stage?
Yeah, we hadn't gone back and watched it in a while. We did look at clips early in the season and talked about it a little bit, but I think they all, again, we have 3 players that chose to came back for their 5th year. I know a lot of that had to do with me, getting to spend an extra year with me. I'm sure that was it. Now they want to rewrite the last chapter, and so that's why they came back, is for this opportunity. And so I think they understand what it takes. I thought Indiana was tougher than us a year ago, just to be real honest. I just thought they took it to us, and they had a veteran team, and they were hungry. And so hopefully that experience a year ago, and then also really working all year long to get back to this point will be a benefit for us.
Pat Eaton-Rob from the Associated Press. A question I've never had to ask at a tournament before, but there's speculation that the further players advance in this tournament, the more money they can make. So I wanted to ask you about NIL. How do you think that is affecting the players' mindset going further and further in the NCAA tournament? How has it affected recruiting, and do we need to see some more transparency and evenness in terms of the rules?
Yeah, I think the NIL is a great thing for the student athletes, for them to have opportunities to benefit from their achievements and accomplishments. I obviously, as a coach, we're supposed to kind of stay out of that. We're not supposed to have we're definitely not supposed to use it for recruiting or enticements or anything like that. I know Adidas, who's our sponsor, just came out with an NIL program for our student athletes, and I think it's a great, like I said, a great trend, and I think in any situation, the more you win, the better So if that opens up opportunities for them, I think it's a great thing.
Take it back.
Hey, Wes, Todd Gibson, CBS 17 out of Raleigh. You've had several phenomenal seasons back-to-back, but for this program to be considered elite, does it have to get to the Final Four, or is that fair or not fair?
Well, I think that's fair. You know, I think we need to take another step or two, and we understand that. That's nothing to take away from what this team's accomplished. To win an ACC regular season championship, to win the tournament as well, to have the number 2 net in the country. We played an unbelievable schedule. Nothing's going to take away from that, but I agree. We need to take another step or two, and again, that's why a lot of these players chose to come back for the 5th year, is to try to make that happen.
Alexa Philippi with ESPN. Coach, you mentioned just what the experience that your team brings how that can factor into the game, but what does that look like on the court? Does that look like just fighting through adversity? Does that look like out-toughing the opponent especially when you're going up against a younger team? What do you hope that experience that your team has will be able to bring throughout the weekend?
I think it shows up in confidence, not panicking, even if you get off to a slow start or whatever, believing. You know, this team last year went to South Carolina and to Louisville, both of whom were ranked number 1 in the country at the time, and won. So I think they've experienced that. This year we went to Indiana. You know, we played a great schedule. So I think you draw from all those experiences. And like I said, the ACC, I mean, you look at it, we got 4 teams in the Sweet 16 still playing. And so I think the night in, night out challenges that you face there, I think all those things are a benefit. But just like I said, just playing together and being on this stage for 4 and sometimes 5 years, I think hopefully gives you a certain level of confidence.
Last 2 minutes here, Jonas, for the final question.
Coach, you mentioned toughness twice now. You said you guys got to be tougher, and you said last year Indiana was tougher than you guys. What does a tougher NC State team look like? Who kind of leads the way for the team being tougher this year?
Well, I think it's a team. Hey, it takes the whole team. You know, at this level, 1 or 2 players getting it is not going to be enough. So, you know, I think the toughness shows up defensively, being locked in, and you know, just little things, beating people to a spot and making them shoot jump shots instead of layups, boxing out every possession, just being on edge, ready to pounce, ready to make a play when the opportunity presents itself. So, but just physically, mentally, being able to rise to the occasion.
Coach Moore, thank you so much for your
Thank you
time.
all.
Have fun today.